Welcome to Jets Rewind. I'm Marty Schupak. I'm in Valley Cottage, New York. I'm joined by my very good friend Ralph Sharega. He's up in Belmont, Mass. And momentarily, we're going to be joined by the voice, I like to call him, Ray Clifford, who will be here in about 5 minutes. He left the Jets bar in downtown Columbus, Ohio. Hopefully, he's driving straight from Columbus to Marysville. But anyway, the Jets lose a tough one, 34-32. And I'll give a couple of open remarks, Ralph, and then you could go. But, you could say anything. You could say that he chased points in the first half, going for two. Um, Xavier Gibson's fumble, holding the ball on the wrong side. Um, Queen Williams, I still don't have an explanation why he was on the sidelines as much as he was. But I'll be honest with you, I hate to blame anything on one player, but this free agent they signed, Brandon Stevens, I guess his name is number 21. This guy is awful. He's like the reincarnation of Jermaine Johnson. And
Not Jermaine Johnson,
what's his name?
Trumaine
Trumaine
Johnson.
Johnson, yeah. Trumaine Johnson. And you got a guy like that. And Ralph brought out a good point that Ralph, that you knew his weakness does that he has no feel for the trajectory of the ball with the man he's covering, but he's just awful. And look, Aaron Glenn, I saw his press conference. He said that if you're going to make mistakes and help your team lose, you're not going to be on the field. I'm going to hold him to his word. I'm not saying he's going to he won't bench Stevens next week, second game. But this guy is he's like a disease. I just can't take it. So with that, Ralph, let me have your opening remarks as we wait for Ray Clifford to come on.
Well, first, a shout out to superfan Matt Lewis. Before the game, he made this great prediction. He said the Jets were going to score 32 points. Of course, he meant the whole season. But we're not going to quibble about that.
That was a good
Yeah,
prediction. Yeah.
yeah. I guess, you can look at the big picture, glass half empty, glass half full. Have a new coach, new quarterback, new GM. We didn't know what to expect. It was a pretty entertaining game. They should have won the game. They were the better team, but they made the key mistakes, which is what it's all about in the NFL in close games. The positive I will say about Aaron Glenn is for 3 years, what drove us all crazy with Salah was that team was not ready to play until about the middle of the second quarter of every game. It was insane. And I realized because they came to play and they were ready at the first drive today. Sally used to baby them in practice and in training camp, and Aaron Glenn didn't. So kudos for Aaron Glenn for preparing this team like a professional football team. I mean, he made mistakes. Yeah, the chasing of the points. This is not the hindsight. The minute the announcer started saying it, I was shaking my head. No, no, no! Don't start doing that. You're going to go down the rabbit hole. I mean, it's just it's just inevitable. And so that was a problem. He talks. To me, the two biggest blunders of the game, which cost them the game, were the penalty to Quincy Williams. They had that team on the ropes. It would have been a third and long, deep in their own territory. They weren't making any third and longs that game, and he just gave them a life. And at that moment I said, "That's it." Being a Jet fan all these years, and then on the ensuing kickoff, of course, he's holding the ball in the wrong hand. Gibson, he fumbles it, gives it up easily, and of course they put the ball on the ground two or three times, but they get it back. Why is it when we fumble, we never
Right.
get it back?
Right.
Um, you
And I
know,
just want to mention one
yeah.
thing, and I love the guy, Connor Rogers, but he was kind of making the excuse that Gibson really is only used to returning punts, not kickoffs. But Connor, I got to
He's
tell you,
had experience doing that in the
he
past.
has, and this is like back for Pee Wee football. They
Was
did
that
that
Rogers or
too.
Hughes you talking about?
Who's the guy who's on the post-game show? I think it was you,
Yeah,
Rogers. He's very good, but
yeah.
I disagree with. I can't. There is absolutely no excuse the way he was holding the ball.
Not being in the professionals. He's returned kickoffs for the Jets. Uh, I don't know what his future is. I don't know if Aaron Glenn is going to do something about him. I mean, Quincy Williams made a blunder of a play, but Quincy Williams is one of their best players, so he's not going to bench him. If he does it four more times, maybe he will, Marty. Marty, your over under with Quincy Williams and how many times he did that was scarily prescient. It's like I think you put the whammy on him.
What Ralph was referring to, if you didn't hear our last show, we like to do over unders for the season. And I just threw one in there for at 2.5 as the over under number for Quincy Williams to get penalized for hitting a player out of bounds. So first game he has one. He's got 1.5 to go. So we'll have to see what happens. Ralph,
Yeah, there are penalties and then there were penalties. That was just a bad time for a penalty. It was just awful.
right. You got to give me a take on this Brandon Stevens, Ralph. He was just driving me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Marty, I watched him play in Baltimore, and that was his big problem. He never turns around. At a certain point, as a defensive back, you got to know that that ball is on its way, and you've got to find it, And he did the same exact thing, and they were picking on him, like they picked on DJ Reed for 2 or 3 years because Sauce Gardner's on the other side, and Sauce played pretty good today. So we're gonna get a steady diet of Stevens, and either he's gonna lift his game, or when I was just out jogging before, it occurred to me like as Thomas is gonna get an earlier call than he expects.
Right. You're talking about, I guess it was, who was it, our third round?
Third round pick from Florida State,
Yeah,
Azari Thomas.
Azaria Thomas, who they were surprised he was there in the third round.
They say that all the time, of
Right,
course.
right. But a lot of people, hi Ray, how you doing? Welcome
Uh,
back. We're,
Wonderful.
we're talking about
You
Brandon.
bet.
We'll get your immediate reaction. We're just talking about Brandon Stevens, and we're talking about Isaiah, whatever you pronounce his name, Thomas, the
Azari Thomas, yeah.
draft pick, that he might not be that far away from being our other starter and quarterback. But with that, before we continue, Ray, first of all, you were at the bar in Columbus. How many people were there? I'm just curious.
I'm not sure about a head count, but it was a good turnout. I mean, some couldn't make it. They were out of town or they had to work, but we had a good turnout. It was
Good,
fun.
good. It was
Yeah.
actually it was an entertaining and a fun game to watch. Give me, as Ray shakes his head,
Yeah.
give me your
Oh,
reaction, Ray, from what you saw.
well, like you said, I mean, I was very pleased overall with the Jets far as how that game played out and everything. It came down to like a few plays and it was such a Jets loss. It wasn't just a loss, it was a Jets loss. In the back of my mind from the beginning, I was like, all right, what's going to go wrong?
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely. You can just feel
and I think
it.
the first mistake was the 2-point conversion, the first 2-point conversion. Not that I was against him going for it, but then when I saw the play call, as usual, I'm like, okay, so our offensive coordinator, and this is in my mind, obviously, but I believe it. He's like, they think we're going to just have Justin Fields fake a handoff and then he's going to roll out and do whatever he wants. So we're going to fool him and run up the middle. Yeah. And they played him to run up the middle and they stuffed him like they always do. That was the first one. Quincy Williams was the second one. That led to the second touchdown, and Gibson made the ultimate mistake of any veteran. I mean, if he was a first-time returner, I could have maybe given him a little slack, but he's been returning too long to not know to switch hands on when you're running the ball back. And he knew it. He was pounding himself on the chest on the sideline afterwards. He knew he screwed up. But those 3 plays changed everything about that game.
Right.
And there were other things, but all in all, I thought they played a good game. I thought
They
it was,
outplayed them. They should have won the damn. That's the thing. They should have won the game. These are the frustrating games.
yeah. And the one other irritation with me, and I don't know how it happens. I mean, it's probably miscommunication, but on 2 plays, and they made a big difference when it was a third down or whatever, or whatever the play was, and nobody was covering. Who is it they picked up from Seattle?
Metcalf, but
Like
actually,
twice.
he was doing a crossing, and I think Sauce kind of got picked or screened. I
That was I thought he let him go because he thought somebody was supposed to
Oh, I don't.
I don't know
Okay.
for sure. You could be right. I could
I
be
have
wrong.
to. I'll
There
have
was
to.
the one down the sideline where when he first caught it, there was nobody on. I'm just like,
Right.
how if anybody you're going to cover, it's either the tight end, their top tight end, and the wide
Right.
receiver.
Right.
And twice he was left wide open because of I'm guessing miscommunications.
Yeah.
Those are the things that bugged me. But all in all, I'm not disappointed. I was very pleased with how this team played overall, with the exception of those plays.
Two
Right.
other players I want to point out that bother me.
Could I just say one thing?
Yeah,
I have to interrupt you. I want to tell all the fans, whether you're a Steeler fan, we have a number of Steeler fans that are tuning in. I know that, or a
There were quite a few at the bar.
Jets fan. I believe that Jets fans. The MVP was not Aaron Rodgers. In my mind, the MVP was the Pittsburgh Steelers equipment manager because whatever you say, the Jets were slipping all over their own field at least four times, maybe five times. It was constant, and the Steelers, they were perfectly stood up. They cut well. They didn't slip at all. So go ahead, Ralph. What were you going to say?
yeah. The two early in the game, both to Metcalf, little passes out of the flat. First one, Tony Adams. He gave him the sideline. He took the fake inside, which is
Yep.
stupid. He should know better. That cost him about 20 yards. And
Yep.
then Michael Carter basically did the same thing on the other side a little later, another big
Yep.
play. I
It was
thought
good.
their
Both of them
second,
could have stopped the drive.
yeah, yeah. His
It,
sound is off, Ray.
Oh, it
I,
is.
I hear him, but
Okay.
yeah, again, I know I'm jumping around. I have notes. I just don't want to forget certain things. We'll come back to that too. But I want to ask Ray because he's kind of like the officiating guy. Ray, they called that penalty towards the end on Jalen Ramsey. I think that was a terrible call.
I don't think it was terrible, but I think it was very iffy. But
It didn't mean anything though. It didn't have any impact because they had the first down anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it just
That,
cost
that's
them a
right.
few yards. That's it.
Cost him a few yards, but
Yeah.
and I don't think he was trying to block. I do think he was going
Yeah.
to make a tackle. But I can see where, from the ref's standpoint, it might have looked like he was trying to block him because of the way, the way his body was moving. I don't think that was a, I think it was the wrong call, but not a horrible call.
Right, right. Just quickly, their first quarter was 9-7. The Jets had a very good drive, and uh, Ray was, I know you were at the bar, but Ralph and I kept going back and forth that we thought Brees Hall looked as good as he looked in his
Oh,
rookie year. He
outstanding.
he looked terrific. He was running
Yeah.
between the tackles, and he was very good.
Quick
Uh,
burst, definitely.
Yeah.
He was running with more authority too.
He
Yeah.
definitely
Just
looked
look,
good. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. I hope that keeps up, no doubt.
yeah, because he's
yep.
fun when he's good.
Of course, the drive stalls and we settled for a field goal. We had a 3rd and 10, and they gave it to Isaac Davis, which I don't understand. Do you remember
Uh,
that?
Yeah, I remember that play. Was 3rd and 10 deep. Yeah, I figured they're probably thinking, let's get the points and not have a blunder on the first series, do something positive.
You
well,
can't
if it,
play scared in the NFL, and you just can't.
I agree with you on that. But I think that's what his thinking was.
Right. And after that, I mean, the defense, Queen and Williams made a sack, but if you look close,
first play.
it was all Jermaine Johnson on the play.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's the one that forced him in. And as Ralph said, that's really good to see
mhm.
because we discussed the edge. We didn't know what we were going to have. But Ralph, maybe you looked at him close throughout the game. How did he play the rest of the way? I thought he did pretty good.
I thought he was solid. Yeah, I mean, it's typical Jermaine Johnson. He causes a lot of havoc, but he never seems to be able to get the sacks. But that
Oh,
doesn't matter. That he's good. I mean,
yeah.
anything to keep Michael Clemens off the field a little more. but apparently Clemens
He was
he
out there.
he was out there way too much. He didn't do a darn thing. Not a
Yeah.
darn
Am I
thing. I watched
wrong?
him all the time, huh?
Am I wrong, or did was it just off and on, or but did they flip flop Quinnen and Phillips? Because it looked like Phillips was on the right side of the center, which was usually where Quinnen was, and and Quinton was on the other side. Was it? I don't know if that was all game though, or if they just did it.
I,
Yeah, I didn't notice.
I'm not sure, but you know what? Picking up this guy Phillips, that was a great move. That guy's
It
pretty,
was.
he's like a wall. Um, Also, I just want to mention too, in the first quarter, and both Ralph and I, Ray, if you probably saw it, as well as Brees Hall was running, his best run, he was like hit behind the line of scrimmage, and somehow he got up and he had a 3 yard gain. Do you remember
Yeah.
that run,
Oh
Ray?
yeah. Yeah. So he said he was going to be taken about 5 yards back, and he turned it into a
Yeah,
3 yard.
he made about
That's
two or three
outstanding.
guys miss. Yeah, Brees, that was exciting. I think the three most exciting things to me were Brees, Jeremy Ruckert, but I
Yes, me
still think
too.
Taylor will be the man as the year
Oh
goes
yeah.
on. And of course, the biggest was Justin Fields. He didn't play a perfect game, but for a first game, I'm really happy with that. There's something to build
Really.
on there,
I, I,
definitely.
I agree, and there was some plays which, to me, he was like Lamar Jackson clone. I have no idea how he got out of it.
Yeah,
It looked like he was pinned back in the backfield, and on one play, it looked like he was going to run, and he stopped and he passed. I think it was to Reynolds. It was just a beautiful play. He threaded the
yeah,
needle. So I agree. If more of this is going to come, I think we love the pick. We thought that was a great pickup. So we'll have to see what happens after the Jets field goal. The Steelers they scored a touchdowns. They had 10 plays, 71 yards. They touchdown pass to, I guess it was Benny Sko is his name. Was it the tight end?
Oh,
Moose Skowalski or something like
Strauss.
that.
Yeah,
he was
right.
on the Rams back when they won and he's out of Notre Dame. I remember him.
Oh, he's a Notre
Yeah,
Dame boy,
yeah,
huh?
he's Notre
Oh,
Dame. He was
okay.
on the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure.
Right. The Jets, they got the ball and they start driving down and uh, Field scrambled and then he threw a pass into the right corner of the field to Garrett Wilson, and he took it in for a touchdown. And I was surprised he got it in, but that was a great play. Ray, what's your reaction to that play?
As soon as he released the ball, I thought he didn't. I thought he lofted it too much, and I thought this is going to get picked or knocked down. But when the camera flipped to Garrett, and I saw he had like a yard or so on the guy, I said, "Oh, please just tell me he threw it far enough," and he did. It was a great throw. So that was another good sign from Justin that he saw that and he made the right throw. I was happy with that one. I was happy. Other than the 2 point conversion decision, I would have gone with the extra point. Folk missed the first one. He wasn't going to miss the second one. I would have taken the point, but it's one of those things. If he makes it, it's a great move. If he doesn't, you're an idiot. But
Yeah. Ralph, your thoughts on the TD pass from Fields?
It's funny because just before that, JJ Watt was talking about how Fields was wearing two gloves, and they look like thick gloves. I don't know how these quarterbacks have the touch they do with those gloves, but yeah, like Ray, he really feathered it, and he's got a very strong arm. So obviously, he showed a nice touch. I think one of the knocks on Fields is that his accuracy is a little erratic. But I thought
yeah,
he was extremely accurate today. Early in the game, one pass to Wilson, which was complete, a little behind him.
Yes,
Other than that,
first completion.
yeah,
Yeah,
other than that, he was pretty much on target.
yeah.
So a lot of good come out of this as far as Fields goes.
I
yeah.
just want to mention too, Ralph, you brought up the color commentator. Who was it? Watt? What was his first?
JJ Watt, he was good.
He was great.
Yeah, he was.
Ray, how tall is that guy?
He's about 6'6", and I think
Oh, yeah.
Iron Eagle's about 4'2" or something.
It was
That was
unbelievable.
hilarious. I never saw anything like that. It was like Muggsy Bogues and Sean Bradley or something.
It
Uh,
reminds me years ago, and a lot of our younger fans never saw the show Rowan and Martin's Laughing.
Oh yeah.
One time they had a skit with Sammy Davis Jr. in a boxing ring with Will Chamberlain. It was it was very, very funny, very good.
Marty, one more thing I want to point out
Sure,
that you
go ahead.
that you mentioned about Fields, the last play of the game. when he tucked it and he was good. He could have run for the first down and he decided to throw it to Wilson.
Could I say something, Ralph?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was watching the post game show. They have this really good show with Rogers, Willie Colon, and Bart Scott, and they were talking about that, and they showed it, and showed it down in slow motion. I didn't realize at the time, but it wasn't. I'm not saying he wouldn't have made it. It wasn't as easy as it looked.
Oh, there were
okay.
like
There were
three guys
three
right near the
Steelers
river.
there too, and
Yeah.
in the NFL, no matter how fast these guys are, how fast it closes, so it would have been kind of borderline. I thought he would have made it though at
Uh-huh.
when it was in regular speed, but we don't know for sure. But I'm sure, he's my favorite Jet, but I'm sure Garrett Wilson feels awful about that last play of the game.
That wasn't a drop. He got blasted.
He
He
got
got
blasted.
blasted. Was he going to get a first down on that
Oh
if he
yeah,
had
it
caught
would have
it?
been a first down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the whole
Yeah,
thing.
it
It would
was
have been a
close. It was close. Yeah, yeah,
first
But
down.
he,
They would have had one timeout.
yeah. And about 20 seconds. Yeah.
yeah.
All
But
right. So that's good to know as far as Fields goes. I thought, a couple of plays, it looked like he was holding it a little too long. On that last 2-point conversion, he threw it into the corner and Garrett
Yeah.
Wilson was double teamed. There was no chance in the world that was going to work. I didn't know what other options he would have had. I would like to have watched it again to see if he could have scrambled a little. But it was not going to happen. That
No.
play.
yeah,
I think he was triple teamed, I think, in the corner
Yeah.
by that
right.
the ball got there. But
Anyway, it was the second quarter. We all both scored 10 points halftime. It was 19-17 Jets. And we knew with the Steelers getting the ball that, it wasn't over. And one of the highlights too is give them credit because I know their field goal kicker won the game, but our field goal kicker, 40-year-old Dick Falk, he hit a 51-yarder, which really was nice to see, and hopefully it'll continue. I was surprised, guys, the third quarter that we were able to hold them on their first series, not to score. In fact, I believe it was a 3-and-out. I think on third down there was a pass incompletion, but Jermaine Johnson was right in the face of
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. If you remember that, Aaron Rodgers, he has a little bit of that Tom Brady in him where he knows when he's going to get sacked and he'll just throw it into the ground. He's able to see another player. So I thought that was good. I thought a couple of things. I think it happened twice, but it used to drive me crazy with Zach Wilson and way before that, Mark Sanchez. I can't stand when we get these balls deflected. And I know it happens every game to quarterbacks, but it just seems the Jets quarterbacks, it happens too many times. I counted two deflections. How about you, Ray? How many did you count? And one of them, they almost intercepted too.
um I don't I know I just remember the first one. I thought he held on to the ball too long and
Yeah, that was TJ Watt on the
got
left
us.
side. Yeah.
I thought if he'd like a half second sooner sent that, it would have been a completion. But other than that, I don't remember the other ones so
Yeah,
well.
Fields was scrambling a little and he on the left
Right.
side. Yeah.
He
Yeah,
he
and almost the alignment almost caught it. Yeah.
he's not afraid to throw, against
Oh
his
yeah.
body. You can
Yeah.
see that. He has a lot of confidence in that, which is scary.
Yeah, a couple of those I thought were picked off and they got through and I was shocked and the Jets receiver caught it. I was like,
Right.
wow.
Yeah. And
He's
yeah. In the third quarter, when the Jets were driving, that's when they had the bootleg by Fields where he was
Oh,
just about skipping into the end zone. I wish he would just sprint in. I mean, it gets
uh,
me nervous.
but that's the play I thought they could have run on that 2 point conversion. That's why that bothered me so much.
Oh,
Is
absolutely. He
instead
would
of
have walked in on that first one. Yeah.
that
They
just
wouldn't have been able to pull it again. That's the
no.
thing,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, it would have been different.
Right.
But
Marty, just quick, we gotta give kudos to Simpson and Fashanu. They were terrific on the run today.
They were
Uh,
good.
I
Huge.
thought our line in general was pretty
It was
solid.
general. It was good. I was watching Membo on pass protection. His balance and footwork were not that great. He's got a ways to go with that. Of course, he's going against probably one of the two or three best defensive linemen in the league,
Yes.
and they weren't giving him a lot of help sometimes. But That's got to be the greatest brother combination in the history of the game. I mean, both those guys won, but he and they both won the Defensive Player of the Year. It's incredible.
What about the Bosa brothers? No?
I think they're better.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you
Okay.
think so?
I think it would be a lot closer if the Bosa brothers didn't always get injured.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but other than that, yeah, I think they're very similar.
We scored that touchdown, it was the only score. We were ahead 26-17 in the at the end of the third quarter. I just want to point out there was one play. I want to hear Ralph his opinion. It was kind of like in the first I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes, where there was an incomplete pass.
In the first half, you're talking?
No, third quarter, but Michael Carter was right there. Should he have had that for interception?
Uh, it probably was a tough play, but he probably could have gotten it, I think. Yeah.
How
What do you
about
think,
you,
Ray?
Ray? What do you think?
It would have been a tough catch, but I thought he could have had it.
That's why he's not a receiver, I guess.
Yeah,
That's what they say,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's defense.
So, and then all of a sudden, the fourth quarter, we were outscored 17-6. It was the Aaron Rodgers show.
Well, you got to say, they're up 26-17.
Yeah.
They got that team deep, and that's when the Quincy Williams penalty came.
Got it started.
That just that was a 14-point. His play and Gibson's play were 14
Gibson
points.
right after. Yeah.
14 points those two plays cost them.
Yeah.
It's funny. We used to say when Brady was with the Patriots in New England, I remember when they would win close games, we used to say he does just enough, and the Patriots do just enough to win the game. And on the other hand, the Jets do just enough to lose the game.
Well, the talk up here all the years with Belichick was Belichick would just wait for the other teams to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And they would.
Yeah.
They would.
Yeah. And the Jets are one of those teams.
You know what, Ralph? I used to talk to Jeff Brenner about that. He lives up in at the time Newton. And I used to say, yeah, he plays even with teams through three quarters. But it's funny. Not to digress, but did you guys see that Bill Belichick? First of all, they got killed, North Carolina, but they asked him at the press conference, "How come you don't allow any Patriot scouts on the campus?" And he came out and he said, well, I'm not allowed back in the Patriots area, so it's pretty simple why I do that. I didn't know that they left in such bad terms, Ralph. You're up there.
Well, I don't know that he's not allowed, but yeah, of course they did leave on bad terms. But you know what? He's going to kill his program by doing that kind of stuff because the players, they want scouts to look at them,
Yeah.
Right. That's right. I want to point out one play in the fourth quarter. I thought that I guess there was a screen, and Jamie Sherwood, he like knifed through and he got it for a 4-yard loss. I don't know if you guys remember that play.
Yeah, I remember the play. Nice play. He had a so-so game for him.
Yeah, he got burnt in the first half on a pass coverage. Go ahead, Ralph. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the irony about Jamin Sherwood is he's so much better against the run than the pass. And the guy used to be a safety in college. And he figured convert him to a linebacker and he'd be pretty good pass coverage as a linebacker. But he's always had a problem with that.
Right. And Ray, in the first, after our first punt, I sent Ralph a sarcastic text saying, that was my team MVP in the preseason. And then he punts a 56-yarder when he really did a good call.
Yeah, I thought that might win the game for them. That flipped the field position.
Yeah, it was exactly what we saw in the preseason. He just blasted it, but he doesn't just kick them deep either. It's high, so the guy fair caught it. You're kicking that far, you're setting up a return.
Yeah, the first one might have just been jitters, first punt.
Yeah. But let me just go through a couple of stats, and you guys could add anything else you want in the games. Fields was 16 for 22, one touchdown. Breece Hall rushed 19 times for 107 yards. Justin Fields 12 for 48. Isaiah Davis 2 for 18. Braylon Allen 6 for 9. Receptions. Garrett Wilson 7 for 95, 1 TD. Breece Hall 2 for 38. Tyler Johnson 2 for 31. Give him credit. he stuck with the Jets. They put him down in the practice squad. They brought him up after the Jets did not activate Alan Lazard. So good for him. I don't know much about this Tyler Johnson, but he went down, he didn't complain, and they brought him up. Mason Taylor, Ralph's guy, 1 catch, 20 yards. Josh Reynolds, 2 for 18. And Jeremy Ruckert, 2 for 16. And he was only targeted twice. So we're going to see what happens.
Yeah,
Quickly, just
catch
go
he
ahead.
had, believable.
Yeah.
First catch that Rucker had was outstanding because it was
Oh yeah, it was a big catch. It was besides the last drop by Garrett Wilson. It was a good day for the Buckeyes. Even the center, I guess Josh Myers did fairly well
Well,
too.
he didn't have any bad snaps that I could see.
Right, which is a plus. Um, Quickly, I'm just going to name like the top 5 or 6. Quincy Williams, 6 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss.
One penalty.
Tony Adams, I'm getting to hate that guy, Ralph. I mean, I
He's
don't care
just,
how many tackles he gets. He makes these stupid mistakes.
yeah,
And he looks so unathletic at times.
he's just an average player. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know what
he,
they ever
he had
saw of him.
6 tackles. Jamie Sherwood, 6 tackles. Queen and Williams, 5 tackles. Again, I would love an explanation why he was out.
Well, I could understand you got to give these guys a rest to a certain point, but he and McDonald were out for too many plays.
yeah.
Michael Clemens, the guy, he's not even on that list, Marty. He didn't do anything. He continues to hold the spot down. I'd rather have Leonard Taylor play at the defensive end position, even though he's a tackle.
No doubt, Michael Clemens has some compromising
Mm.
pictures of Woody Johnson
Or
somewhere.
else they're just afraid to cut him because he's
He's crazy.
Yeah.
McCrary Ball had 5 tackles. That guy's active. I know he's
yeah.
special teams. Cisco had 5 tackles. Now I didn't see it, Ray. Maybe you saw it, but according to Robbie Sobo, he said he saw something where um, Aaron Glenn, and he was trying to compare it to Robert Saleh. He met Cisco off the field, and he was screaming right in his face. I don't know if you saw it.
I didn't
I
see
caught a
it.
glimpse of it, but
And my hunch would be that he probably was one of the guys who blew coverages because
yeah,
I didn't notice him the whole game, frankly.
But it's not the point is that he got in his
Yeah.
face,
yeah.
which to me is refreshing.
Well,
And the other thing I just mentioned, Will McDonald had 2 sacks, and that's about it. But all in all, listen, I don't feel as bad as I usually do. I know a loss is a loss; it doesn't matter. But for some reason, I don't feel as bad as I did like the last 3 years with Robert Saleh. I mean, I just feel like at least I thought, as Ralph said, they were prepared in a way where they came out ready to play. It was our rookie coach. He'll learn. Hopefully, he won't go for 2 points next time. Up until midway through the fourth quarter, I loved our offensive coordinator. I still have high hopes for him. Again, he's a rookie. So all in all, we lost. We host Buffalo next week, and I'm sure Josh Allen is licking his chops with this Brandon Stevens. So give me your thoughts any more in the game and how you thought. Go ahead, Ray. You start.
Um, yeah, it was different because I used to come out of the last few years, come out of the first game thinking this team has got nothing. But I didn't even have a problem with the 2 point conversion. I had a problem with the play they ran, but I didn't have a problem with them going for it. But it's one of those where you go and it's great. You don't, and you're an idiot. But all in all, I thought it was a good game. It was just, you could pick out 3 or 4 plays were the difference, but they were big ones. Williams, Gibson, that led to 14 points and nothing flat. That was really most of the problem, the 2 point conversion. But all in all, I thought it was one that was a good performance, and I'm thinking, we can improve on it. So if we play like that every week, I don't think we're going to be, picking in the top, 3 or 4 of the draft. Let's put it that way. I think we can win some games playing like this, but let's see if let's see how they look next week. In Buffalo is a big challenge.
It is, Ray. I want to ask you a question. I'm just curious, hypothetically, if the quarterbacks were reversed and we had Rodgers, they had Fields, how do you think the game would have been?
Well, the one thing we will find out going to like next week probably is how are we against running quarterbacks? Because that was one of our weak spots over the past few years. But I think if we'd have protected Rodgers better when he was here, he'd have looked more like he did for Pittsburgh today. But the line, I think the line has vastly improved so far from what I've seen. So
Yeah.
that to me makes a big difference in quarterback play.
Except for like two or three of his scrambling plays, I really think it's not a knock on Justin Fields. I don't want Jet fans to take it wrong. I think the Jets would have won today with Aaron Rodgers. How about you, Ralph? Your closing thoughts on the game?
Um, I have to disagree with you, Ray. I don't want them going for 2-point conversions, even if they're at the 1 yard line.
Oh, I'm not saying I
Not,
wanted to, but
yeah.
Well,
I
Ralph, you don't
understand.
mean all the time. You mean
Not
the
early
first
in the game.
half.
Early in the game. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Look, I agree with you. I would have
Yeah.
kicked. The
I
fact
just
that,
watched too much football over the years, and it just you're just trying to get it back for the rest of the game, and it's
yeah.
in
Probably if they'd have kicked it, then the second touchdown would have led to a tie as opposed to
yeah.
being down. So
Uh, as far as the Rodgers feels things flip, that's a tough question. I'm not really sure about that. Rodgers was great on first and second down, but on third down, when the Jets knew he had to pass, um, they weren't converting that many third downs, Pittsburgh. The Jets were putting a lot of pressure, and Rodgers is not very mobile anymore. So I think that Membu might have been a problem for Rodgers today. Uh, yeah, the other thing is, I just feel like it's really frustrating seeing Rodgers do well.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Well, did you expect anything else, really, when you think about it? Of course, you knew he was going to do well.
I
yeah,
don't know.
but
I didn't think it was going to get those kind of numbers. Four touchdowns, well, a couple of them were kind of gimmies. But
that's what I was going
Right.
to say was some of
Yeah.
his like
And
yeah,
the touchdown to who was the guy who caught the one and he just basically the tight end there, Skoranek.
yeah,
That one and
well, the
the other
Johnu Smith thing, which
John
really wasn't even a pass, that was just like a flip to him, and
forward, and we got no push on that because he just ran along the line and
yeah.
then got to the we didn't get any anybody inside the line to pressure it. So I don't think he would have made it if we'd have gotten any push on that play. But
Oh, but by the way, one more thing for Jet fans who were so pissed off at Joe Douglas 2 years ago when the Patriots traded to Pittsburgh and they jumped in front of them and grabbed Broderick Jones. Will McDonald, who they then took after Broderick Jones, ran around him like he was a turnstile. So the Jets did better in that situation.
I think so in the long run. I think you're absolutely right. So, all right. So we're 0-1. And look, again, I'm not happy. I don't want to give people the wrong impression. But it's after going through the Zach Wilson, Robert Saleh years, I don't want to say it's a breath of fresh air. It's still early. I want to see if our coach is going to hold true to what he says and he's going to hold players accountable. Again, I don't think, after signing Brandon Stevens to 3 years, whatever it was, 40 a million or whatever, 30 million, whatever it was, the first 2 years are guaranteed. I don't think he's going to bench him after 1 week, but
No.
I think he knows he's going to know during the week, he's kind of on probation and that he's going to be pulled every time.
He got away with that penalty at the end of the game
He
too. That
did.
was
He got
uh,
away with a few stuff. You should have heard Bart Scott get on him. I couldn't believe it. I thought there's like an 11th commandment, former players can't say too many bad things
yeah.
about it, regular players. But Ray, you would have loved what he was saying. He was just going on and on about him.
Well, the minute they signed him, I think every Jet fan was thinking, "What? Why are you giving this guy so much money? He was not that good." It didn't make a lot of sense. And then they go spend a third round pick on a guy who they think could be a shutdown corner. It's kind of strange.
And
Uh,
Tomlin knew because he went after him.
yeah.
The game plan, he probably told Rodgers, I know
Well, it's
this guy.
partly it's because Sauce is on the other side and he's got the
Right. Yeah.
reputation. So,
Yeah.
but he better get used to it because he's going to get picked on
He's
every
going to get
game.
that, yeah, all year long. That's exactly right. You're exactly
Well, about 6 games long.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought Sauce had a decent game. I
He
thought
did.
He
Sauce
did.
was good.
Yeah.
Sauce played up to his contract.
He
I
stuck
thought,
his nose in there in a couple of
I
tackles.
thought,
yeah.
yeah. Garrett played up to his contract.
Yeah.
Oh, I said I was worried about what he would be able to do without a guy on the other side, but Garrett had a really good game, I
Garrett
thought.
was good. Yeah, Garrett was good. I don't know. I know Reynolds was in there. I don't know if Arian Smith was in there at
He
all.
returned a
I
kickoff.
saw that because
Yeah. But was he in on any plays? I didn't see
I
him on
don't
I
any
didn't
know.
see him.
plays.
We
Yeah.
still we gotta do something with that second receiver though. Somebody's got to step up
Oh, yeah.
just to balance out the offense. They really do. I mean, if Brees runs like this, if Ruckett is continuing to get better, Mason Taylor, if he's gonna do what he did today, he only had one catch, but
He was
I think
hardly in the game. Yeah.
he's only in the game. But I mean, these are good signs, good
They are.
indications. So we'll see. Let's see. All right. Anything else, guys, before we sign off? Okay, for Ray Clifford in Ohio, Ralph Schraeg up in Massachusetts, Marty Schupak in Valley Cottage. Until next time.